Welcome to your ultimate guide to get to Bali, Indonesia for just $60 round trip using your credit card rewards. We've got economy, business, first class options, and I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to make this booking together because you deserve to go see the natural paradise that is Bali. And even if you don't have the points now, this video will inform you what kind of points you should be looking to get to book that flight. Now let's start off with this question. Did you know that there are no direct flights from the United States over to Bali? To get there, you're going to have to connect through at least one of these airports to get to Denpasar Airport, otherwise known as DPS, which is located in Bali, Indonesia. Of all these routes, today we're going to be connecting through Taipei, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Having this connecting flight is going to indirectly mean that some of our favorite award search tools aren't going to be as helpful, but I still have a trick or two up my sleeves, so stay tuned for that. And I do want to also note that the wet season in Bali is between October and February. So March and September is the dry season, and those are the dates that we're going to focus on. So let's get it. American Airlines is up first. They are a transfer partner of Bilt Rewards. They are the only transferable currency that goes to American Airlines. Otherwise, you'll have to get a sign-up bonus from one of the many American Airlines credit cards or using any of the number of ways I describe in this video linked up above. Now, American Airlines is a great way to get easy economy flights with decent award availability for just 37,500 miles and about $40-50 one way. And so you'll be flying from the United States through Hong Kong via Cathay Pacific. And now business class flights are possible. It is just very scarce award space, but at a great price of 70,000 miles one way. However, it'll get you some awkward bookings such as flying to Japan and then Malaysia and then finally Bali. And you'll find this award space either very last minute or very far in advance. But let me know in the comments, is that a route that you typically are willing to make in business class for that great of a price? And then now let me show you how exactly to find this award space and book it. And so this is an optional step, but it may save you some time later on. And so this is flightconnections.com, by the way. We're going to type in Hong Kong up here because it'll be good to know which of the United States hub fly directly to Hong Kong. And as we can see, it's the usual suspects here, your California airport, Chicago, New York, and Boston. And then we'll just hop over to AmericanAirlines.com. And so you can start looking from one of those Eastern Coast hubs, but I will say a lot of those routes are going to connect you through LA or San Francisco anyway, and there's just a lot more availability. So I'm going to start with LA. Make sure to click this redeem miles option. Doesn't really matter what date you select to start off with. I search one-way award flights, and here we go. When you get to your results page, you may not have any results depending on what date you select, but we're going to click this calendar option here, and it will bring up this nice award calendar. And so this is March, which I'm currently in March filming this. And then we can just scroll through the different months until we can find some decent award space. And so once we get to August or September, the calendar really starts to open up here. So you can select whichever date you're interested in. And then once you find your flight, you could just select whichever route you're interested in. This was a LA to Hong Kong to DPS. And now I will say, whenever I was searching through here, I actually got a lot of 2 stops that was routing me through Malaysia. If you wanted to filter those out instead of hunting and pecking, go back to the award calendar, switch this to just 1 stop or fewer. It'll take away a lot of those dates, but you'll know it's just fewer connections in foreign countries. So once you click on whichever route, you'll be given the details, hit continue, and then hit continue through your personal details, and again on the seat selection. And then you'll get to this review and pay page here. And I wanted to bring you here and show you that you don't have to necessarily pay right now. They do have this advantage hold option, which is a great option to have if you're unsure about this routing. They will hold it for up to 5 days. And then another big perk about using American Airlines is it's amazing if you're having to take a positioning flight to one of these hubs. So let's say with this route flying from LAX, I'm in Austin. I can try to find an award flight from Austin to LAX to see if that exists. I make this hold currently. I take the reservation code down, I call American Airlines customer service and ask them, hey, can I tack on this flight that I found from Austin to LAX? And they will do so for free. This is exactly what I did to get from Austin to DFW without any extra miles, any extra fees, nothing. And then once they add it on, you can either book it on the phone with a representative, or they can just keep it on hold for you and you can finish the booking online whenever you're ready. American Airlines has just about the best pricing and availability for economy flights to Bali. However, Alaska Airlines does beat it out by a little bit. You can find economy flights for as low as 30,000 miles via a similar route, but the whole flight has to be on Cathay Pacific, so it might have a little bit less availability. With that being said, business class availability is just about scarce / non-existent. I couldn't find any to show you on this video. And now I do simply just prefer American Airline miles because there's just more opportunities to get those. But if you'd like some more details about how to find this award availability on Alaska Airlines, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to break it down for you. Hello from the future. 2 quick updates. 1, you are not able to transfer your Bilt points over to American Airlines effective June of 2024, but they did add Alaska Airlines as a transfer partner so that you're able to transfer your points over to Alaska Airlines, and that's effective already. So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to look at your booking options. And so if you want to keep up to date on points and miles news like that, make sure to check out my free newsletter down in the description. It gets released every Friday. I also include up-to-date information on transfer bonuses, so check that out. Here's some more. Next up is Star Alliance member Singapore Airlines. So as you can see, Singapore is a transfer partner of all the major award cards except Bilt Rewards. Singapore is a great option if you don't have American miles because there is also plenty of economy award availability and at a reasonable price of just 42,000 points and around $5 or $10 for taxes and fees. The price may fluctuate a couple thousand depending on where in the country you're flying from, and you can expect business class to cost anywhere from 107 to 112,000 points, again with reasonable taxes and fees of around $50 one way. And so there's a lot of different options and ways to go about this. Let me show you all the nitty-gritty details here on SingaporeAirlines.com. Now once you're on SingaporeAir.com, you will need to log in or create an account and be logged in order to search for award flights. You're just simply going to click redeem flights here and then type in where you want to go. So if you were to look at flightconnections.com, you would see that Singapore only flies direct from LA, San Francisco, Newark, JFK, and Seattle. So we're going to go ahead and search for San Francisco, and I picked a date in August. Go ahead and hit search for economy, and it will bring you to the results page here. And as we scroll down, we can see our different options. And now you do see a bunch of waitlisted awards. These are essentially just unavailable. You can be put on a wait list, but I think the likelihood of actually getting it is fairly slim. But I don't know, it's just too much of a risk. I'd rather get a sure thing if I can get it. And so it's the Saver award space that we're going to be looking for because it's obviously the better price. The Advantage rewards are 70,000 points, and you can kind of see that here. And so as you can tell, there is no award calendar for us to quickly look through. So if you end up getting results with nothing but 70,000 or just waitlist options, you'll just have to scroll through these arrows until you can find a good match. And so sometimes if you do click on one of these, but all this says waitlist, check at the bottom and make sure to hit load flights, because sometimes that award availability that says it's there is actually down further below. So there is a little bit of hunting and pecking to this, and yes, there is availability with decent layover times if you search long enough. Now let me show you how to search for business class awards because there's a little bit more nuance to that. So back on the home page, we're about to search, but I just want to say there's definitely more business class availability here than on American. However, we're still subject to the regular award search circumstance rules. That is, I'm currently in March looking for availability in September or August in that time frame, and that's not the best time to be searching for availability. You would want to look a year in advance, and that's currently in February is where the award calendar is out to, and that's still rainy season. And so if you were to look for availability as it comes out, you will likely be able to just look from LA to San Francisco over to Bali, and you'd probably get some decent success finding a business class award flight. However, if you find yourself having difficulty finding availability on Singapore Airlines, here's some tips. First, anecdotally, I've been able to find more award space on the way back from Asia versus on the way to Asia. Second, you may want to search for the longest haul segment first, so from Singapore back to the US, and then try to find that Bali segment after the fact. And so that's what we're going to do here. So after some scouting, I was able to find this award space in August from Singapore to LA, business class for 107,000 miles. And so if you find some space or multiple dates, then you can go and see if you can add this Bali segment by hitting edit and typing in the airport here. And then you can see that same award space. It's departing a day later and it has some funky layovers, but it does exist. And so like I said, this award space isn't a great pick. However, it's what I have available at this very moment. And so if you find yourself being able to find the long haul segment from Singapore to the US, but not including Bali, you can consider continuing to book that long haul segment and then just buy a cheap flight to or from Bali, depending on which way we're going. There are low-cost airlines where you can get a flight between Bali and Singapore for just around $100. Another pocket where I tend to find a little bit more award space is if you take advantage of the Fifth Freedom routes offered by Singapore Airlines. This includes to and from Singapore and New York and Singapore and Houston, IAH. For example, this is a business class flight for 111,000 miles, but do note that it's from Singapore all the way to Manchester and then to Houston. That's over 24 hours of business class flights. And this is actually a very similar flight to the one that I booked on the way back from Bali. So I am curious, and I'll be sure to let y'all know how it actually is to be stuck on a plane for 24 hours, even if it is in business class. Let me know in the comments, is this something that you would book? And now you're probably curious about this free stopover option here. And so Singapore Airlines does allow a complimentary stopover. However, you need to be booking the Advantage Award, so you'll be paying 30,000 more points. Now, I don't know if it's really that worth it, to be honest with you, just from my perspective. The other way to get a free stopover is if you book Round Trip Saver Award. And so if you do book Round Trip Economy Saver Awards with Singapore Airlines, then you could be eligible for a free stopover in Singapore or elsewhere, wherever it tells you you're eligible. Okay guys, if we're willing to be a bit more patient and a bit more flexible, I can show you how to book that same exact business class flight that I just showed y'all, but for significantly less miles. And I'm not talking about the 24-hour business class flight, I'm talking the regular size business class flight. But first you need to know that my name's Michael and I really appreciate y'all watching this video. If it's been helpful for you so far, make sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing. I'm here for all of your award travel needs, and I'm made happiest knowing that these videos are helping y'all go on some incredible vacations, so your comments mean more than you know. And so to book this flight for cheaper, we're going to be using Air Canada, and now they don't have an award calendar either, which is a pain. However, we are able to use one of my favorite tools. That's right, I tricked ya. Let me show you. This is Seats.Aero. It's an incredible tool to help you find award flights, and I go more in depth in it in the video linked up above, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to use it. We haven't been able to use it because, like I said, it doesn't work well whenever there's flights with connections. However, there is a workaround for this Air Canada option I'm going to show you. So we click on Explore Air Canada. We switch this to look for North America to Asia routes. And then if you click here, I am going to recommend that you get a pro subscription at least for a month. It's just $10 for a month. And so if you are looking to book this flight or this route, then this will help. But take a look at the video, make sure that it makes sense to you first. So click full year. It'll give you access to these filters as well. So you can just type in Singapore here, and then you'll want to sort by business class flights, and it will bring the cheapest business class award flights here. And now the dates are kind of mixed up, so let me click here. Okay, and so this will bring all of the flights from North America to Singapore here. And this green means it's direct flights. This SQ is short for Singapore Airlines. And so these are all the same Singapore Airlines business class flights that we saw earlier, but you could book this on Air Canada for just 87,500 miles. So not all of the award space found on Singapore Airlines is gonna be on Air Canada. So you're gonna have a lot less options. And so that's why it's important that you still look on Singapore Airlines for whichever dates you're interested in. You just may wanna consider looking at this first. And so as you can see, these dates are in order. So you got options in March, this month, April, and then it skips to August, December, January. And then on the next page, it goes all the way to the end of February, where we have these flights. So like I said, not too much available. And so this is how you found a flight to Singapore, but let me show you how to get to Bali in business class. For that, you'll need to open up another Seats.Aero page, get to the same spot where we were, but instead click Asia to Asia. and you're going to want to keep that other one open because we're going to reference it later. And so from here you can filter for DPS and activate Bali, and then here type in Singapore to activate Singapore. And so these are all the flights from Singapore to Bali, again direct with these greens, and it's 30,000 miles, but that's not going to matter right now. And again, we've got the 4-year availability turned on. So if we look through here, it looks like we've got flights all the way through March, April, and May. And it seems like it's just about every day that there's a flight between Singapore and Bali. So if we go back to this page where it shows America to Singapore, we can probably find some availability in this April or March range. And so what we're going to do is write down one of these dates, and we're going to go over to Air Canada and see if we can make a match. To break down exactly what I'm looking at here, so let's take this March 6th option from San Francisco to Singapore. If I click on this I and click on business class, this is the routing that I'm looking at. So I'm departing on April 6th, but it tells me I'm gonna arrive 2 days later, which is April 8th. And if I look at the Singapore to Bali routings, I do see availability on April 8th. So I'm thinking that I should be able to find this on Air Canada, no problem. And so you'll need to go to aircanada.com, and you will need to log in to look at this award flight. You're gonna hit one way, type in the flight information, make sure to click with book with points, and then we'll search. It's going to show us the cheapest economy options first, but we're going to sort by business class. It shows us these mixed cabin options, but if we scroll down, we'll see the business class back-to-back Singapore Airlines all the way to Bali, 87,500 miles. Like I said, patience and flexibility. Notice there is only one seat left, and so this may not be the best option for everyone, but it is out there if you're that flexible and you want those cheaper award flights. And then of course, to look at the return flight, you could just reverse all of the steps, but do it from Bali to the United States. All right, so if you'll bear with me, I'm gonna actually kick it up a notch into expert mode, and I'm gonna show you how to get a stopover through Air Canada for just 5,000 miles. And so to do that, we'll just go back to the home page here. So let's say we want to spend a couple of days in Singapore before going to Bali. We're going to click on this multi-city stopover option. And so we saw earlier that there was literally flights from Singapore to Bali nearly every day in business class. And so what we're going to do is it pulls up the second flight for you, but that's not what we're going to do. We're actually going to book a stopover. And so if you don't know, a stopover is different from a layover. Layovers are just 23 hours or less than 24 hours. Stopovers can be for multiple days. It's over 24 hours long. And so this is a great way to see another city on the same itinerary. So here you'll type in Singapore for our stopover city, and then you can select your length of stopover. So remember, it's going to take 2 days from April 6th to actually get there. So you're going to want to say 3, 4, or however many days you want, all the way up to 45. And so let's just say you want an extra day or 2 there. So we'll do 4 days and hit search. And then it'll give you the results. And again, it'll show you those mixed cabin bookings first. But if you scroll down enough, you'll see the flights that we were looking for. Back-to-back business class flights on Singapore Airlines with the stopover in Singapore for 4 days. And so this is what we're looking for, and it's just 5,000 points more than what we were paying earlier. Now this stopover option with Air Canada actually opens the door for a lot of different creative itinerary options. However, it's a little bit out of scope for this video, but I at least wanted to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to fly Qatar Airways business class. Yes, their Q Suites product. And so Qatar Airways is a direct transfer partner from Amex and Citi. However, Qatar Airways also uses the Avios currency, and who else does? British Airways. And so you're able to transfer your Bilt, Capital One, Chase points to British Airways, and then from British Airways on their website, you can transfer directly to Qatar. I'll make a separate video showing you exactly how to do that. Another great thing is that you could take advantage of a transfer bonus to British Airways if that is going on. And now to find award availability, I'm going to direct us back to Seats.Aero. You can try to find availability without it. However, it's going to save you so much time if you do what I'm about to show you. And so on the main page, you're going to go to Tools and then Qatar Q Suites Finder. And then this will pull up all the different Q Suites availability that's flying on this plane. But there's a chance that Q Suites might not be loaded up on there. So we're going to just focus on business class in general. And so you're going to put this from North America to Asia. Then you're going to show full year of availability. And just like that, you've got all these flights to Doha. And so this is what we're going to be connecting to. And we're going to be doing the same thing that we did with the Singapore Airlines flight. Put in another window, type in Asia to Asia, full year availability. And then we could type in DPS so we can filter for flights going to Bali from Doha. And so if it's out of sync, you could do from here and filter for DPS going downward. And so what we've done is find partner award space, because all of these are on other airline partners, not on Qatar Airways. And so this award space theoretically should be all available on Qatar's website as well. And now from here, if you wanted to filter by dates, you could type in the date as it is here, and then you could check for May, June, July, etc. So I'm going to filter by August here because we've been seeing a lot of availability around that time frame. And what I'm looking for is a few dates in a row from Doha to DPS. And so it's like 25, 26, 27. So I like this time frame. I'll see if I can find a flight from North America around the 25, 26 range. Okay, so I like this JFK one. And so what we'll do is we'll finally go over to QatarAirways.com and search for a flight going from JFK to DPS around the 26th. Because ideally we'll be able to catch a connecting flight on the 27th because it does typically take a day to get over to Doha from there. I'll just show you. So once you're on the website of Qatar Airways, you're going to need to create an account and log in. You got this main page telling you to book a flight. Make sure you select book an award flight, type in one way, JFK, DPS, and the date here. I typed in the wrong date, but we're actually on August 26th, which is what Seats.Aero told us. And here it goes. You've got JFK, Doha, DPS, and then you got business class here. If you select both of those, it'll tell you it is 100,000 avios and $200. If the flight that we were looking for wasn't there, what you may see is either occupied, or you might see this flex option. And if you select those, you'll see the price will jump up to 2 times the amount, 200,000 avios. And now from here, if you don't find that flight that you're looking for, you can do a little hunting and pecking, see if there's something around the same time frame, and you may get lucky. And like I said, you can do your own hunting and pecking. They have this award calendar that tells you what's off peak and what's on peak. However, it doesn't show you what's actually available. It just tells you the possible price. This next partner brings us better business class pricing and award availability. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, I've got EVA Airlines. I'm going to call this our flexible rigid option. You'll see what I mean here soon, but the economy flights will go one way, 50,000 points. Not super competitive, but their business class flights go for 75,000 points one way and $150. So EVA Air is a transfer partner of Citi at a 1-to-1 ratio, and they're also a transfer partner to Capital One. However, the ratio is 2 to 1.5 or 4 to 3. So that means for every 2 Capital One miles, you get 1.5 EVA Air miles. So what that means for you, what you'll put into the calculator is you'll take the price that you need or the number of points, so 75,000 EVA miles. You're going to divide that by 0.75, and that'll give you the number of Capital One miles you need, which would be 100,000 miles. And so EVA Air is part of Star Alliance, so that means you could potentially book this flight I'm going to show you on Air Canada for 87,500 miles like we did with the Singapore Air. However, EVA Air is becoming more and more stingy with releasing award space to partner airlines. And so I'm going to show you how to book this on EVA Air's website and the benefits that that brings. So this is EVAAir.com. And if you don't know, Air is an airline based in Taiwan. And so all of your flights are going to be connecting through Taipei and then going to DPS Bali from there. And so you will need to create and register an account with EVA Air. And once you're on the main page, you don't want to go through this book a trip situation. You want to go to plan and book and then membership award tickets. This will get you to this page here, and then you will just scroll down and you can click login if you haven't clicked login yet, or you could click select itinerary and it will take you where you need to go from there. But real quick, let me show you this award chart here that shows you how many points it's going to take. So between Asia and America, and so it does state excluding Chicago, New York, Houston, Toronto. So this is going to be your West Coast, which includes San Francisco, LA, and Seattle. That's who flies directly to Taipei. It's going to cost 75,000 miles business class, or premium economy 55,000 miles, and like I said, the 50. But if you're flying from the West Coast or from Houston or Chicago, it's going to cost 80,000 miles. And again, to figure out how many Capital One miles that's going to be, divide that by 0.75. And so moving forward, I'm already logged in, so I'm going to click select itinerary. And then it'll take you to this award booking page, and it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to look one way, and I'm going to look from Houston just because we haven't done that much. And we're going to type in DPS for Bali, and then select whatever date is in the time frame that you're looking to go. I picked a random date in August since that's kind of where we're finding the availability in the August-September range. And then you'll see here it asks for any travel companions membership number and password. And so if you're flying with someone, it does get more complicated. Even if you want to look for award availability for more than one person, you'll need to create an account for them and put in their membership number and password. And then to actually book an award ticket for someone else, I'm actually going to defer to this 1 mile at a time article. It details how to do that, and it involves filling out a form, emailing it or faxing it, and then going through that process there. It spells it out for you. But going back, we're going to search for just ourselves. It'll then take you to your award flight here, and our first try, we've got available and even another available seat the next day. And so I will bring your attention, it does say available, unconfirmed. However, by all intents and purposes, this is available to book unless someone decides to book it before you. I wouldn't pay too much attention to the unconfirmed portion of this, because if it isn't available, it'll show this waiting option here. And so we can see the flight segments here, both in business class, and then you can hit confirm. And it will give you this error message since I don't have enough miles in my account, and it will tell me the mileage price right here, 80,000. However, it doesn't tell you the taxes and fees, but from everything that I've looked up, it looks to be around $100 to $150 one way. And so if you're interested in this option, you can transfer your points to EVA Air, and I will note that it does take at least 2 business days for your points to hit your account, and that's why I call it a flexible rigid option. It comes with a lot of these setbacks, but the amount of business class award availability is great. Okay, now so if you're gonna go ahead and pull all the stops, go ultra luxury, you've got points to burn. We're going to go back to where we started. We're going to go with Cathay Pacific, but we're going to actually book on that program. And so Cathay Pacific is a transfer partner for everyone except Chase. So we're going to start on cathaypacific.com, and you're going to want to log in or create an account if you haven't yet. On the main page, you're going to click on book a trip and then redeem flights. From here, we're going to search from Los Angeles. There are other hubs that fly directly to Hong Kong, but LA will get you your best bet on getting a first class availability, and you just select first class from here. So we're going to look first for the segment going from LA to Hong Kong, and then we're going to search Hong Kong to DPS, kind of like how we did with Seats.Aero. The nice thing about Cathay Pacific is that it does give us this calendar, and when it does work well, it works decently well. And so it shows us there's first class availability in all these spots. So we're gonna try it. You can write them down, take a picture, whatever you need to do. But remember, there's first class availability from LA to Hong Kong on these dates. And then from here, we could just change this to where it says Hong Kong going to DPS instead. And then we're gonna switch this to business class because there's really not much first class availability between these two destinations. So we'll search business class for the shorter length of the trip. And there's going to be a lot more award space, but remember, there's only August and September for the first class availability. So we see the whole first week of September and the end of August. And I remember there was definitely a flight on September 1st that had first class availability. So what we're going to do, we'll switch the origin destination from LA to Bali DPS, and I'm going to keep this or put this as first class, and we'll go back to the calendar and we can see that the award calendar actually doesn't work like it did. It doesn't show us any availability, however we know that there is. Now I said September 1st, but I actually double checked and it was September 3rd, so that's the date I'm going to look at, and just hit redeem flights. And then it'll take us to the spot here. You see our LA to Hong Kong to DPS, and it's gonna be a price of $148,500. It would cost $160,000 if this last segment was in first class as well, but since it's a mixed class booking, it does kind of adjust that pricing for us. And there's a little note here saying business class is suggested for the second route because of availability. And so whenever you click on it, it should show you your taxes and fees. However, it's currently glitching right now. Whenever I checked previously, it was about $220 with taxes and fees. And so like I said, award space is kind of here or there, but that's the easiest way to find it on Cathay Pacific. And so this is a great way to try out one of the best first class experiences in the air. Okay, I've got 2 honorable mentions for y'all. One is KLM through the Flying Blue Rewards program. They're a transfer partner with all of the major banks, and so you can get from the United States over to Bali for just 35,000 miles and $170 in taxes and fees. Now the caveat here is that it routes you through Amsterdam, and then you have a quick layover in Singapore and then all the way to Bali. This is a 36-hour flight. I don't really recommend it unless you're going to take advantage of Flying Blue's free or complimentary stopover program, where you can make a free stopover in Amsterdam for a few days, enjoy Europe, and then make your way over to Bali from there. Next up is Avianca Life Miles. You can get an economy from LA to Bali for just 47,000 miles and $43 in taxes and fees. There's also a $25 award booking fee. And so it's not super competitive with some of the other cheaper routes we've talked about today, but it's another option. You'll be flying on EVA Airways. And now I've got videos on both of these either out now or they're coming out very soon. So if you want the detailed how to book explanation, you can check out those 2 videos. They'll be more focused on Europe, but same process. People, we made it. Now you know exactly how to book that award flight over to Bali. And so A, if your balances are completely depleted now, or B, if you're starting from scratch, you're like, how the heck am I going to get all these points? I've got a playlist loaded up for you in terms of how to earn those points, some of my favorite credit cards and some of my favorite programs. I hope this video has been as helpful for you as it has for me making it. I saved over $8,000 on my honeymoon with these strategies. So let me know in the comments if this has been helpful for you. Thank you for watching. My name is Michael. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.